Hello and welcome to the Star Wars Shatterpoint Stats Center. I'm your host Steve, and join me today as I look back over the 10 events held in 4 countries with 107 players over the last weekend. So great to see that we have a few more events than we have had over the past few weeks. So without further ado, let's dive in and have a look. And our first event is the Black Banner Bi-Weekly. We've seen these before, and it's just a 2-round showdown event. And in first place was Jerry Bowinkle 22 with Mando and Leia. Unfortunately, no list submitted, so just congratulations, Jerry, on the 2-0. Our next event takes us over to France. And we have an 8-player event with a 3-0 and then 3 2-1s. And the winner going 3-0 was Ryudan, and they were running. It seems to be a Thremier event, so it was Moff Gideon, Death Trooper Escort and the Dark Troopers, Darth Vader Jedi Hunter, Kenobi Out of Hiding, and Lando and R2, very interesting, and then Grand Inquisitor, Third Sister, and the Fifth Brother. And then there is an unknown item here in the mission, which must be the new mission, as it will not be registering on Longshanks, and we already know that France have had the new mission released out there, so that is very, very exciting to see. So yes, that was a 3-0 there. Then in second, we have Rad Rogor, who was running what looks to be a Mando. So we got Armourer, Paz, and the Coverts, the Mando, Bo-Katan, and Clan Kryze, and then more Gar Saxon and the Mandalorian Super Commandos with Sabotage Showdown. So very exciting there. Then in third place, we have Johan, who was running a Cassian, K2SO, and Rebel Pathfinders, Jin, Bodhi, Baze, and Chirrut, Solo, Chewie, and the Rebel Commandos on Never Tell Me the Odds. And then the final 2-1 is Tartine, and they were running Dooku, Jango Fett and the Magna Guard, Grievous, Kraken and the B2s, Asajj, Kalani and the B1s on Sabotage Showdown. So what a fantastic mix in the meta there. Loads of different units in the top 4. Wonderful to see, and actually the event seems to have had a pretty decent spread of units throughout it there. So that's fantastic to see. And I just wanted to see what the playing rate of the new mission, the strategic positions, was. And it was played 3 times during the event. So great to see the strategic positions has already got a little bit of data coming in. And no doubt we will be diving into that in the Stats Center kind of monthly recaps at some point in the future. So once again, congratulations on the 3-0, Ryudan, and well done on the win. The next event is in the UK, and it is the largest event of the weekend with 22 players attending, and it's the Struggle at Dark Sphere. For those of you who were interested to see a more in-depth look at how I got on at this tournament, there is a tournament recap video that is the video before this one. So if you haven't watched it and fancy hearing how I got on, please do dive in. So let's have a look. So we have only one 4-0. And then we have a bunch of 3-1s. So we have Fraser as the only 4-0, and he was running Jin, Callus, and the Rebel Commandos, Hondo, Bodhi, and the Rebel Pathfinders, Cassian, Ezra, and then Baze and Chirrut, and then General Solo, K2, and Lando and R2 on First Contact. So yeah, loads of rebels in there. Hondo as well. Fraser is the world #1 Hondo player, so not a surprise to see Hondo feature in the list there. But if we have a look, we can see that it was a Jin anchor. And then Cassian was played twice with Jin, Han once, and Hondo once as well. But yes, big congratulations going 4-0 and taking the event. Then in second place, we have Ollie H55, who was running Kiadi, Anakin, Obi-Wan and Boss, but unfortunately no full list submitted. Then in third place, we have Jay, and she was running Leia, Lobot and the ISBs, so getting that spy synergy. Mother Talzin, Jango Fett and the Night Sisters, Ahsoka, Bo-Katan and the Mandalorian Super Commandos, and then Cassian, Sabine, and Baze and Chirrut also on First Contact. And we can see that we have the both lists kind of, it looks like a side by side, and they were played twice. Mother and Leia, and then Cassian and Ahsoka. So yes, well done on the third place there. Then in fourth place we have Tomo. And Tomo was running Cassian, K2SO and the Rebel Commandos, Han Solo, Chewie and the Rebel Pathfinders, Leia, Luke and Baze and Chirrut, and Kanan, Ezra and Chopper. And it was shifting priorities for the mission. And Tomo was running, looked to favour the Cassian Leia. That was what got him the 3 wins, and the loss came with the Han and Kanan list there in round 1. Then in 5th place we have Tom, and Tom was running a really interesting list that we have seen before. It was Asajj, Nosseri and the Aquadroids, Dooku, Jango and the Magna Guard, Riff, Crosshair and the Weakways, and Mando, Bo-Katan and the Covert Mandalorians on Sabotage Showdown. For those of you who watched the Swindon recap or watch the Stat Center with the Swindon list, this was exactly the same list that Tom ran there, and Tom once again went 3-1, so fantastic to see. And he was favouring the Mando Riff list, playing that 3 times and just getting the Separatists out the way in round 1. Then in 6th place we have Ollie, and Ollie was running if we can get the loading screen to appear, there we go. It was a Cassian, Kallus and Baze and Chirrut, Kanan, Ezra and the Rebel Commandos, Jyn, K2 and the Wingard, interestingly, and then Leia, Lobot and Lando and R2. So some of these builds very common. Cassian, Kallus and Baze and Chirrut, quite common. Kanan with Ezra and Rebel Commandos, again, very common choice there. Leia, Lobot and Lando R2, very strong, obviously with the focus for Leia with the Lobot move. But Jyn, K2 and the Wingard is really interesting, the Wingard featuring in there, so that's pretty fun. And Never Tell Me the Odds was the mission. And Ollie ran this as a Cassian anchor, playing Leia and Jyn once, and then Kanan twice, and the loss came in round 1. And then finally we have Louis, who ran the event, and he also went 3-1 and was running Leia, K2 and Lando and R2 as we saw before, Jyn, Sabine and the Clan Kryze, then Armourer, Bo-Katan and the Covert Mandos, and Lord Maul, Obi-Wan Kenobi out of hiding, and Mandalorian Super Commandos. So lots of Mandalorians around there, along with Leia, K2 and Lando and R2. Sabotage Showdown was the mission, and it was, for the beginning, it was looking a bit like an Armourer anchor list here. But then in the final round where Louis was playing versus Fraser for the win, he swapped to the Jyn and Leia list. So yes, once again, congratulations to Fraser for the only 4-0. Big win there, and well done. Back to America for the Black Moon Games February Shatterpoint event. There were 8 players at this one, and in first place was Bryant, who ran a Cassian, Leia, Iden and Krennic list, but unfortunately no full list was submitted, but well done on the 3-0. Then James was in second, and James was running, it looks like the wrong layer has been clicked at some point with there. It was a Cassian, Ezra and Baze and Chirrut, Leia charming to the last, Luke and Han and Chewie, then Armourer, Paz and the Covert Mandalorians, and then the Mandalorian, Bo-Katan and the Clan Kryze on Sabotage Showdown. So yes, will have just been the wrong layer click there for the first 2-1. Then Will was third, and Will was running Hunter, Recon Omega, and the Republic Clone Commandos, Mando, Bo-Katan, and the Clan Kryze, the Armourer, Paz, and the Covert Mandos, and then Boss, Fixer, and Sev and Scorch. And Will actually only... Will didn't even play Boss and Hunter. Wow, I wonder whether that was a misclick at some point, or whether the event allowed you to not have to play both your squads or all your squads. But yeah, fantastic. If true, fantastic that brought Boss Hunter and then never used them. Brilliant stuff. And then the final 2-1, the penultimate 2-1 is Matthew, who was running Grand Inquisitor and Moff Gideon. No list submitted. And then finally, with the in 5th place, Evan, who also submitted no list. And we've got Cassian, Leia, and Kanan there. But well done, Bryant, on the 3-0. Back to America again with 13 players competing in this event, and we have 2 3-0s. And in first place is Sinister Space Elf, and they were running a Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shakti and the Padawans, Mace, Rex and the 501st, then Iden, Gideon and the ISF, and then Vader, Jedi Hunter, Death Trooper Escort and the ISB agents on Sabotage Showdown. And favouring the Ki-Adi and Mace list twice there, with the Iden Vader list played once. And then in second place, also going 3-0, we have Michael Higley. And they were playing Boss, Fixer 7 Scorch, Hunter, Wrecker and the Wolfpack. Then Vader, Jedi Hunter, Rex and the 501st. Ahsoka Tano, then Shakti and the ARF Clone Troopers, with shifting priorities as the mission. And it was a mismatch of different squads used here. So we've got Ahsoka Vader in round 1, then we've got Boss Hunter in round 2, and then we've got Boss Ahsoka to round off in round 3. So mixing it up nicely there. Very cool. So yeah, well done to both those two for their 3-0s. Then in the 2-1 bracket, we have Austin starting us off, and Austin was running what looks to be all Galactic Republic. So we've got a Mace Windu, Barriss and the ARFs. Love to see Barriss included. Then we've got Hunter, Wrecker and the Clone Commandos. Then Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shakti and the 501st. And then Boss, Fixer and Sev and Scorch on First Contact. And Austin, again, is similar to the list we just saw there. We had a Boss Hunter in round 1, then a Mace and Ki-Adi in round 2, and then mixing it up with a Boss Mace in round 3. Then in 4th place, we have Glenn. And Glenn was running what looks to also be Galactic Republic, so it was Sabotage Showdown. We had Ahsoka Tano, Jedi No More, Shakti and the 501st. Very common build, this one here. Bringing Shakti with the extra force really works well with Ahsoka there. So that's not a surprise to see at all. Then Cassian, Ezra and Baze and Chirrut. Obi-Wan, Rex and the Clone Commandos. And then Ki-Adi-Mundi, Cody and the 212. So interesting to see Cassian dropping in there. Now, what's the use been here? So it's a Cassian and Ahsoka is where Glenn was running them, and then it was the Obi and Ki-Adi there. So the Cassian and Ahsoka. So you got the Force with Shakti as well. Yeah, that makes some sense there. Yeah, very interesting to see. I do like Shakti. She's got the Force Repulse, which can be really good there as well. Then in 5th we have Cade, and they were running Boss, Fixer 7 Scorch, Hunter, Wrecker and the Clone Commandos, Obi-Wan, Rex and the 212, then Mace Windu, Wolf and the ARFs with Sabotage Showdown. So clearly a Galactic Republic meta out here. Cade choosing to go Boss Hunter twice and then finishing off with Obi and Mace. And then finally for the 2-1s in 6th place we have Brett, and Brett was running Vader, Jedi Hunter, Boba Fett and the ISBs, Iden, Hask and Fifth Brother, and then Mando, IG-88B and the Wingard. Second time we've seen the Wingard feature this week, which is fantastic to see them getting some love. And then Cad Bane, Jango Fett and Sev and Scorch. Oh, I like that a lot. That is good fun there. That's a good little fun list there. That's very interesting. And Brett decided to actually favour the Vader Iden list twice, playing the Mando and Cad list once. So, once again, congratulations to Sinister, Space Elf and Michael for the 3-0s. The US continues to have events with the Sci-Fi Adepticon Prep. So this is just a small tournament, and it's clearly preparing for Adepticon. So it looks to be a round robin with Kenny going 3-0, and Kenny was running a Cassian, Callus, Baze and Chirrut, Luke, Bodhi and the Rebel Commandos, then Boss, Fixer 7 Scorch, Hunter, Wolf and the 212. And then in second we see Scott, coming in, and Scott was also running Boss, Fixer, 7 Scorch, Hunter, then Wolf and the Wolf Pack, then Cassian, Callus, Baze and Chirrut, and Leia, Ezra, and the Rebel Commandos with Sabotage Showdown as the mission. So, well done to Kenny for the 3-0 in the Adepticon prep, and hopefully you guys have a great tournament when it comes around to it. Over to Canada now for a 16-player event, another Thremier event, and with the results here, unfortunately, I think it was here they did add in the description, please add full lists to help determine the special prize winner, but even with that, unfortunately, only one of the lists that we are going to be looking at from this event actually has a full list. So in first place, going 3-0, was Trory Wong, and they were running Grievous, Dooku, and Asajj. Then also going 3-0 and actually being exactly tied in equal first on VP's strength of schedule and then the wounds done, so 6, 1.33 and 19 respectively, was Wicked Fictitious, and they were running Lando, Vader 2 and Veers. So it would have been lovely to see those top two lists there, it would have been really fun to see what was working well at this event. But yes, unfortunately, even though the organisers had asked for the lists, sadly they were not featured. Then, as we move down, in third place we have Amber, and they were running Cassian, Jin, and Riff. Again, we'll be really interested to see that Riff list there. Then in fourth we have Diego, again no list, Mother, Maul, and Asajj. Then in fifth, Kelvin was running Veers, Thrawn, and Krennic. And we do have a list here, so celebrate with me. Krennic, Death Trooper Specialist, and the Stormtroopers. Thrawn, Gideon, and the ISBs. Then Veers, Stormtrooper Sergeant, and the Death Troopers on Never Tell Me the Odds. Fantastic to see. And yes, well done. A special well done to you, Kelvin, for submitting a list. Then in sixth place, we see General Solo, Jin, and Leia, Freedom Fighter. Then in seventh, we've got Cad, Leia, Charming to the Last, and Cassian. And then finally, Shelley, that was Chris running that one before. And then finally, Shelley with the Grand Inquisitor, Iden Versio, and Moff Gideon. So yes, looks to be a really fun competitive event with lots of really fun primaries featuring there, and great to see a Thremier event. But I would have loved to have seen the list. So hopefully when they run the next one, they will all be submitting the lists. But big congratulations on the equal firsts for Trory and Wicked Fictitious. Staying in Canada for Darth Jar Jar Rises, we see a 12-player event, and in first place with a 3 wins and a draw is Kyle. So let's have a look at Kyle's list. So it was Darth Vader Jedi Hunter, Barriss featuring again, fantastic to see, and the Padawans, then Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shakti, and the 501st, then Moff Gideon, Death Trooper Escort, and Fifth Brother, with Grand Inquisitor, Third Sister, and the Dark Troopers on shifting priorities. And here we can see that Kyle was using both as twice, so used both lists twice, and the draw came with the Ki-Adi and Vader list versus a Ki-Adi and Ahsoka build. So well done on the win there. Then going 3 wins and 1 loss, we have Daredevil in second, and the list here was General Solo, Chewie, and the Rebel Commandos, Lando, Bosk, and Baze and Chirrut. Very interesting there, Bosk and Baze and Chirrut, like that a lot. Then Kanan, Ezra, and the Rebel Pathfinders, and Hera, Sabine, and Chopper. So very nearly the full spectre on Never Tell Me the Odds. And Daredevil, Trevor, I'm not sure what's happened here because we see Luke and Leia featured in the results, but not featured in the list. I wonder whether the list was changed at the last minute away from the Spectres. Unfortunately, we will never know. We will never know. But what we can see here is that it is a Han Solo anchor list. And yes, well done on the 3 and 1. Then in third place, we have Brad, who unfortunately has not submitted a full list. So we know it's Charming Leia, Lando, Mace, and Ahsoka Tano, Jedi No More. And then the final 3 and 1 is Shane, and Shane's list was Moff Gideon, Death Trooper Escort, and the Fifth Brother, the Grand Inquisitor, Third Sister, and Fourth Sister, then Darth Vader, Emperor's Servant, Stormtrooper Sergeant, and the Death Troopers, and Krennic, Death Trooper Specialist, and the Shore Troopers on First Contact. And this was... it wasn't quite a Moff Gideon anchor. No, it's a kind of a jumping around, a bit of everything. So Moff and GI, GI and Vader, GI and Moff again. So GI anchoring 3 of those lists, and then Vader, Krennic to round out. So yes, well done for the 3 and a draw there for Kyle and the tournament win. Back to America for Get to This Before Your Tauntaun Freezes. A 10-player event with a couple of 3 and 0s and some 2 and 1s. So in first place we have Applejacks going 3 and 0, and Applejacks was running Ki-Adi-Mundi, Shakti and the 501st, Plo Koon, Nadar Veb and the Padawans. Love to see Plo Koon, love to see Nadar Veb, fantastic stuff there. Then Boss, Pond and Sev and Scorch, so not bringing Fixer on the boss side, choosing Ponds to get Sev and Scorch further up the board, which is really interesting, and then Hunter, Fixer and the Clone Commando, so that Fixer is still on the board. But I really like that little twist on the boss list to get Sev and Scorch even further up the board. Very interesting to see. And Applejacks ran the boss and Hunter list twice, and then the Ki-Adi Plo Koon list once. Then also going 3 and 0, unfortunately no full list, was Paul, and Paul appears to have only run 3 primaries, which were Cad, Mando and Cassian. Then in third place, the first of the 2 and 0s, we have Aaron, who unfortunately also didn't submit a list and appeared to only play Mando and Armourer. Then in fourth, 2 and 1, is Taco, who also submits no list with Cassian, Princess Leia, Charming to the Last, Mando and Armourer. Then in fifth, the final 2 and 1, we have Ethan, and Ethan has submitted a list. It looks like an all rebels. We've got a Cassian, Ezra and Baze and Chirrut, Kanan, Callus and the Rebel Commandos, Solo, K2, Lando and R2, and then Leia, Chewie and the Rebel Pathfinders. So nice to see Leia pairing up with Chewie and the Pathfinders there as something a little bit different. And Ethan was running this as a Cassian anchor, but didn't actually run the Leia list, it seems. So again, it might just be different rules for the tournament. It seems like some people brought 4 squads, some people only brought 2. We won't know. But congratulations to the 2, 3 and 0s, and in particular Applejacks for winning the event. And finally we move to Red Dragon Game Day in Canada again, and I must say thank you very much to the organisers for asking that the participants enter their lists on Longshanks using the SPT code options provided by third-party list builders. Because of the 10 players, we can see 10 submitted SPT coded lists. What a joy for me doing this look at the stats. So in first place we see Jean Nicolas with a 3 and 0 with a Boss and Hunter list, which is Hunter, Wrecker and the Clone Commandos. Boss Fixer, 7 Scorch on Sabotage Showdown. Then in second, with the first of the 2 and 1s, we see a Grievous Riff list. So it's Riff, Nosser and the Aquadroids, Grievous, Savage, Oppress and the B2 battle droids. What a fantastic place for Savage to join there. That must be a brutal list there, with Grievous and Savage both dishing out huge amounts of damage. Yeah, that looks like a really fun list there. And shifting priorities was the mission. Then we see Brody coming in third with 2 and 1. And this was a Ki-Adi and Mace. So it's Mace Windu, Rex and the Arfs. Then Ki-Adi, Shakti and the 501st Clone Troopers. And then in fourth place, Francoise is running a Mandalorian, Bo-Katan and the Clan Kryze, along with Armourer, Paz Vizsla and the Covert Mandalorians on First Contact. And then the last of the 2 and 1s, it's an Obi Hunter list, and it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, Captain Rex and the Clone Commandos, and then Hunter, Wrecker and Echo and Tech. So really leading into the Bad Batch there on Sabotage Showdown. But yeah, big congratulations to Jean Nicolas, and also thank you again to everyone for submitting the full SPT coded lists. And there we have it. So quite a nice range of differing primaries featuring. We also saw some interesting units appearing out of the blue with we had a couple of Barriss, a couple of Wingard featuring highly as well. So there is clearly some looking around to shift the meta a little bit. But however, it is still very apparent that that Cassian in particular is featuring a huge amount in these lists, along with Boss and various other primaries that pair well with them. So yes, not too much change at the moment, but I think we will see some shake-up when we look back over February's results next week in the second of the monthly Meta Watches. So please do join me next week as I run the Star Wars Shatterpoint Stats Center again next week, and then follow that on the next day with a look at the Meta Watch for February 2026. So, as always, if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like, a comment, hit the subscribe button, etc. Share this as widely as you can, please. It'd be great to see the channel growing. I'm really happy with how it's going at the moment, but I'm sure it can always do better. And until next week's Stats Center, I will see you around. Have a good one, and bye for now.